A bit of background first. B16, 17 at the time. Pretty serious and artistic kid. Decided to try and DM at a local LGS and put up an ad on the games board. Of course, the grognards refused to play with a kiddie. Finally managed to assemble a party. All teens, between 15 to 16. Stereotypical pasty/pimply nerds. Apparently they hang out at the store all the time. Overjoyed to have found people my age to play with. Really excited. Prepared a lot of stuff. I've planned a short dark heresy scenario. Illegal Xenos trading in an underhive. A bit of bureaucratic investigation, and a general down and dirty sewer combat with gangsters looks our way. And, on that faithful day, as we go into one of the game rooms, I can see the grognards flashing amused looks my way and snickering abundantly. A chill runs down my spine, but I choose to ignore it. Settle around the table, and hand out some pre-made characters. While they're choosing, one of the grognards comes into the room and asks me if he can stay for a bit, with a shit-eating smirk on his face. Accept. No problem with that. But yet, my concern grows as I watch my players argue among themselves in shrill voices about who gets to play the Psyker. Game starts with them arriving on a world by spaceship, on a mission for their Inquisitor. Some guy greets them and informs them that they have been taken care of, and drives them to a shabby hotel. Tell them they have some time before dark, and they could go see the district around, maybe gather some info. Their contact will be in touch in the morning with their mission details. At this point, I should mention they were already being very loud, and the friendly neighborhood neckbeard was staring at us intently. The Psyker and the guardsman stay in the hotel, while the scum, Arbeits and the assassin, go to the bar to test the waters of the place. Or so I thought. They start asking questions around. Assassin crit fails his fellowship roll. I'm lenient, so I just tell him the only person he's managed to convince is some old drunkard that's pulling his sleeve for some change. Him. I glass him. Figure it's going to be okay, maybe have a little brawl. He breaks the glass in the face of the old man, then proceeds to describe with much unnecessary detail how he steps on the guy's chest and cuts his throat with a piece of broken glass. Neckbeard's face went. Panic movement in the bar. They all roll terribly to escape the crowd and get lightly trampled. The Arbeits aren't having any of this. Throws a crack grenade into the crowd. Neckbeard comes up behind me and, with a maddening flicker of light in his eyes, tells me he can help me with the rules for structural integrity of the buildings and explosions. Apparently knows DH in and out and has some homebrewed the hell out of it. I'm a bit shocked, except trying to go with the flow. After a few calculations while the Tardo gang is picking their noses, at least 3 out of the 5 were openly eating their boogers, we announce that the portion of the ceiling has collapsed and fell down on some people, crushing them. Bartender pulls out a shotgun and threatens them, while waitress is calling the Oedipus Arbeits. Arbeits of the team tries to say that he's the police and everything is fine, even though the bartender saw him throw a grenade. Bartender isn't having any of it. Arbeits. I pull out my gun and shoot him in the face. Me. You understand that he is aiming a loaded shotgun at your own face. Him. Yes. Me. Do you still want to do it? Him. Yes. Me. Sure? Him.
Yes, I'm sure. I want to kill him!
Well, okay then. Order crit his unprotected head. Kill him on the spot. He starts shrieking, calling me a fag, etc., all while the others are laughing their asses off. The neckbeard seems delirious with joy. He belts the howling tard and carries him out for disturbing play, all while smiling like it's Christmas. Laughter subsides. I'm not really sure what to do. Try and make them leave, by saying they hear Arbeit's sirens in the distance. Neckbeard comes back, looking content. The assassin and scum decide to take a hostage and grab a random woman from the bar. Try and escape or drag in the hostage. Bartender opens fire again. Choose the hostage in confusion. I fudged the roll, and they figured they would drop her and be on their way faster. Oh, nope. They're keeping the screaming, bleeding girl. She's theirs now. Police quickly catches up with them. Hands up in the air! Release the girl! Scum, shrieking in a slightly higher pitched voice than the Arbeits player.
You'll never take her from us!
Assassin. I charge! I don't even check with them, if they're sure they want to do that anymore. Neckbeard pops out the critical wounds table, smiling like a madman. In retrospect, I should have understood he really hated these guys. Scum gets repurposed as bright red wall paint by the incoming hail of fire. Assassin somehow doesn't die instantly, but gets both of his legs blown off by a multi-laser, and gets taken in by the Arbeits. These two are dying of laughter. Somehow they find it amusing to no end, especially the fact that the cops shot the girl along with them. Neckbeard firmly escorts them out for a disturbing play from the cries of laughter. Much to my relief, because they had this unbearable, very loud, shrill, unchecked tard laughter. I should mention that I managed what both groups are doing at the same time. But for the sake of the Greentext, I separated the adventure of Psyker and the guardsman, to which I'm getting to now. Both chilling in the hotel room. What's the worst that could happen? They call room service. Figure they just want to roleplay and learn a bit about the city. This is before the bar situation got out of hand. The above clusterfuck happened, requiring most of my attention, while the Psyker and the guardsman were ordering an increasing amount of liquor and random items for room service. So absorbed with the retardation of the others that I agreed to most of what they asked, regardless of realism. Figured they wanted to get the characters shit-faced, which was dumb, but infinitely less than what was happening with the others. Finally, the others are out of play. So I turned to the last two and asked them what they want to do, strongly hinting that we could still get along with the scenario if they wanted. Oh, they just wanted to call room service one last time. Okay then, whatever. At this point I just wanted to get on with it. Maid comes to their door. I should have also thought that it should have been a steward and not a maid. Shit went from 0 to 11 in a split second. Their faces line up with murderous glee, and their characters instantly seize her and start tying her up. The Psycho using his powers completely randomly, throwing psychic shrieks around, which he acted. These guys really had issues with screaming, and blasting force bolts in the hallway. Neckbeard hasn't been very involved for a while. It's because he's laughing his ass off too. They drenched the maid in liquor. My face went, no, they're not going to. Oh yes they are. They set the maid on fire and throw her out the window into the street, all while screaming, "For the Emperor!" Quickly enough, another Arbeits detachment arrived at the hotel. While the Psycho was looting anything he could from the hotel, and the guardsman was murdering the people in the next room, because he heard them talk about chaos. Arbeits pull out the loudspeakers, orders evacuation, and orders them to surrender. Guardsman grabs his heavy stubber, and starts shooting at them from the window, to yells, "Heretics!" Clearly, he was more law-savvy than the bunch. The cops tear-gas the place and break in the building. Firefight ensues. Uneventful, apart from the use of explosives to collapse the staircase. Literally only good idea they had all game. Psycho ends up triggering Perils of the Warp, cloaking the entire area in darkness for a few turns. And then, falling down the staircase that they had brought down, and dying from the fall damage. Guardsman committed suicide, broken aid, with one last, "For the Emperor!" Finally, wrote off the death of the assassin as being killed by detention, by an inquisitorial cleaner. The neckbeard escorted the two remaining retards out, and I could hear some sort of argument outside. Still sitting there in shock. This was the first game I mastered for people I didn't know. This was a complete disaster. I feel a bit choked up, looking at my carefully laid out notes and plans, my hand-drawn maps of the sewers. Neckbeard comes back with 2 beers. Him and the store manager and some friends were actually looking forward to my game, because they knew it would be the disaster, and it would give them a perfect excuse to kick them out of the store. Spent the rest of the afternoon drinking beer, and he actually helped me take what happened lightly. Ended up laughing about how fucking stupid they were a few weeks later, and I got to master the scenario for him and one of his friends.